So as you can see, we're now entering the 4th year ever since the Steam Deck came out, and a lot of things have happened ever since, and this is the one that I got ever since day one of the release. I think this device is the one that started this all handheld trend, and while this wasn't new, I do believe that this restarted the whole generation, because at that point we already had devices like the Nintendo Switch, and that was pretty much it. So ever since the Steam Deck came out, this was a clear example that handheld gaming is not dead, although some other companies like Sony back then really believed that this was the case. And in 2025, I think, at least for me personally, this is the beginning of a phase 2 of handheld gaming, because we're just getting started. At least this is what I think. We are now getting more and better handheld consoles, improvements every year, and newer companies are adding their own devices to this whole market. And I think this is the perfect time for other companies to join or rejoin this trend, because handheld gaming is not dead. This is what I think, and that's why I call it phase 2, because 2025 and 2026 and so on, we will be seeing quite some interesting devices, and I want to address some of the new ones that were already announced, but also some other rumors and other companies that I do believe they will come out with their own devices quite soon. So first thing first, I want to address the ones that already were announced in the beginning of January, because CES was back then, and we already have a couple that were already announced. But before that, I want to address the elephant in the room. The most important one out there, I think, is the Nintendo Switch 2, which I already made a video about my impressions and what I think about that one. And in a nutshell, while this is almost identical with the rumors that we had so far, I'm a bit upset with what we got, even though we don't know too much about it. We only got a teaser trailer with the design, which is almost identical with the current Nintendo Switch, but it's just a tiny bit bigger. And I do expect that Nintendo will come out with some new features and functionalities. I think there is something going on with that docking station, also with the IR blaster, also with the infrared that it's on the side of the Joy-Cons, which we probably can use as a mouse, but we'll have to see. And I do believe there are some other aspects that Nintendo will bring with the Nintendo Switch 2, but I will have to see it, because we will get new information in April with the Nintendo Direct. But as of now, this is everything that we know about the Nintendo Switch. And again, if rumors are true, the hardware is not that powerful. Well, there is improvement when you compare it with the original one, but if you compare it with other consoles like the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally, Legion Go, then it's definitely less powerful. And a device that's coming out in 2025 to be less powerful than the other ones like 3 years ago, yeah, I'm a bit worried, but Nintendo is Nintendo. They can do whatever they want, and then they want to benefit from the success of the original Switch. They know they can do it. The Switch wasn't that powerful either way, so who knows? We'll have to see. And at this point, I think that the Nintendo Switch will surpass the PS2 as the all-time highest selling console in history. So probably that's why Nintendo hoped that they can work with the Nintendo Switch 2, which will be similar to the original one. But enough about the Nintendo Switch 2. The next console that I wanted to talk about is the Lenovo Legion Go 2. So I said this in the previous videos of mine that I think that the Steam Deck 2 and the ROG Ally 2 might not come out this year in 2025, just because these producers are waiting to see some bigger improvements when it comes to hardware, so a better processor. And while the Z2 Extreme, the second iteration of the processor that is in the ROG Ally, was already confirmed in these newer consoles like the Lenovo Legion Go 2, I'm still skeptical if the improvements are enough to justify upgrading this year if you already have the previous model. Now, at least for Valve, I'm almost certain that they will not do that already, because they cannot justify the upgrade quite yet. We already have the all-in model, but the hardware is almost identical, so it's not really a big improvement. And I think that the second model of the Steam Deck will not come out this year, just because the hardware is not there yet. And Valve don't really care about these kind of things, because they already have a great console when it comes with the Steam Deck. The game producers already optimizing their game for this device. We have that label which says the game is compatible with the Steam Deck. So for now, I really think that they're doing great. I don't think they need a new console quite yet, and I'm actually happy about that because I don't have to spend the extra money, because if it came out this year, I'll definitely buy it. I'm curious about what it will bring new to the table, but as of now, at the beginning of 2025, I think that at least the Steam Deck will not have a second iteration of their console. And also about the ROG Ally, it may be the same case, even though we already had the ROG Ally X. I don't think we will have a ROG Ally 2 at least this year, and I'm pretty much okay with that. But Lenovo already announced their second model, and not only that, while the console is almost identical and the improvements are, let's say, quite minor, I think that the Lenovo Legion Go S, which is in two versions, I think that one is the most interesting one. First thing first, the price is smaller than Legion Go 2. You don't have those removable controllers like the Joy-Cons anymore, but also the price is lower than that. But the most interesting thing about that console is the version that it's coming up with a Steam OS on it. So that version doesn't have Windows like we're already used to. It will have the same operating system like the Steam Deck, and this isn't something that they just put on their console, because I can even do that with the ROG Ally. I can put a third-party OS based on Steam OS, and I actually love that software because it's more optimized, it's more console-like, user-friendly than Windows. And while I can do more things with Windows and more launchers, the overall experience is way better on the Steam Deck, and that's why now having a Steam OS version of the Legion Go, it's quite huge. And as I said, this isn't just something that they put on their console, it's something that it's a partnership between Valve and Lenovo. This is something official that they are launching, and I'm actually curious if that label that I talk about will be there on the Legion Go S, because I'm really curious how that would work. And actually, Valve already announced that they are releasing their software for everyone later this year, so you can do that on your own, or the other producers can use that software in their consoles. So if they play this card right, I think that SteamOS can become something huge. And at that point, I think Valve would be more interesting in the software, because they are still interesting in that part more than the hardware, and they might not even come up with a Steam Deck 2 just because other manufacturers will do that for them, and they can stick with the Steam OS part, but also the games, because in the end that's where their money is coming from. So that's why the Lenovo Legion Go S, the Steam OS version, it's one of the most interesting one for me, and this was already announced, and I'm really curious what that will bring new to the table. Hopefully I can get my hands on it, and I can do some videos about it here on the channel, so please consider subscribing so you don't miss that one out. Now, another manufacturer that is entering the market, it's Acer, and they're introducing the Acer Nitro Blaze series, which comes in different sizes, but the most interesting one that it's quite different than what we already have right now on the market is the 11-inch one, which is quite huge for a portable console. At this point, it's not even portable anymore, if you ask me, but it's still interesting to see how that would work. For sure, there are users that would prefer that over the ergonomics and the portability. Me personally, I'm not leaning into that one, because even the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally are quite big for me, and I haven't brought them with me in my holidays anymore just because of the size, and actually prefer taking some older consoles like the PS Vita or even the Nintendo 3DS, just because they're still fun to play, and they're really small and very portable, and I can just take them in my backpack. So that's why these ones usually stay at home. So an 11-inch console, imagine how hard it would be to take with you on holidays or while you're traveling. But I'm still curious how that will work, if it's designed to be used more in a desktop way, or I don't know. I'm really curious. The screen would be something quite interesting, but yeah, I think it's quite hard to handle. But it has the same removable controllers like the Legion Go and of course the Nintendo Switch, so it could be something quite interesting to switch between handheld and desktop mode. So I'm really curious how that would work. I'm really happy that it introduces something new, except besides just being another console from other manufacturers. Now we do get a second model from MSI with the Claw 8 AI Plus, which, to be honest, I'm not that curious about. It's quite similar with the original one, just some improvements when it comes to hardware. But again, as I said, I really don't see a big improvement quite yet because technology is not there yet. So I really don't see a reason why I should get this one. I haven't even got the original one, so this one I'll definitely skip. But it's still nice to see that they are going strong in the handheld market. Now, another interesting device which actually brings something that I haven't considered yet. It's a 3D screen with the Tencent Sunday Dragon 3D One. That's a cool name. This was announced at CES as well. And it introduced a 3D screen. So it's the first time ever since, I believe, the 3DS, where we get a 3D screen without needing any 3D glasses. And I do have the 3DS, as I said, the newer model, and I really love that screen, even though it causes some headache after a while. But I think that the technology wasn't quite there yet, but it's still groundbreaking to have that a while back. And I'm really curious how technology evolved in that area. And in 2025, I do expect to have a really nice screen. So yeah, I'll have to see. I really don't know if that will be launched here in Romania, but hopefully I can get my hands on it, because that's an interesting device to have, and I'm really curious how the 3D screen will work. Now, I do believe this is everything that was announced at CES and what we know so far in 2025, but there are some other producers that I want to talk about, and these are the main players when it comes to consoles, and that's Microsoft and Sony. And rumors have it that Microsoft is working on their own handheld device, and I couldn't be more happy about that, because recently they're not doing that great. They have switched a bit the strategy. Now they're trying to bring that Xbox anywhere type of thing, so you can play their own games anywhere you like. So I think this is what they're leaning more into, and rumors have it that they are working on their own handheld, just because they noticed that handheld market is going strong. And as I said, this for me is the phase 2, just because of this reason. And apparently they're working on a dedicated version of Windows, not necessarily a separate one, but a more optimized for handheld version of Windows. And I'm really curious how that would work, because this will not be just for their own handheld, but also for other consoles like the ROG Ally or the Legion Go. So having Windows still there with all the launchers, but more optimized for handheld gaming, touchscreen oriented ones, that would be amazing, because that's why I still prefer the SteamOS over the Windows one, because it's not working that great and it has a lot of bugs because it's Windows in the end. But having a more portable console-like experience with Windows, but still being able to plug it in a docking station, that would be amazing. So you can still have a dedicated PC if you need it. And I am doing that with the ROG Ally, by the way, and I have made a bunch of different videos about that one. So I'm really hoping that Microsoft will be entering this market, because in the end, these companies like Microsoft and Sony have a lot of experience. They can do this right only if they want to. So I really hope that will be the case for Microsoft this time around. Now, another big player is of course Sony, and they have done this in the past. We have a really good console with the PSP, and then the PS Vita, which for them was a big failure, but for us fans out there, this was quite huge. And the only reason why the PS Vita failed is because of the prices of the dedicated cards and not releasing any proper games after a while. So only Sony is the one to blame for not having a successful console. And mobile gaming wasn't the end of handheld gaming like they said, and we have clear examples with the Steam Deck, Nintendo Switch, and every other console. So now I think Sony realizes that they can come back to the market. They already released something last year with the PS Portal, and while I enjoyed that console so much and actually play more games on that one than the standard PS5, well, it's still remote play. I'm still using the PS5, but I'm playing this mode more often than not. So I love having dedicated Sony titles on the go, and that's why I'm using the PS Portal. But I still hope that they'll do their dedicated console, and rumors have it that will be the case actually. So I cannot wait to get my hands on that one. That would be my perfect device, to be honest. And apparently it will be a big somewhere between the PS4 and PS5 when it comes to performance. So having PS4 games on the go, but also the ability to play some PS5 titles either through remote play or cloud gaming, or why not? Maybe some of them will be compatible directly with that console. That would be amazing. To be honest, for me in this moment, because I'm a Sony first type of player, actually that would be the perfect device. So having actually both of these producers, Microsoft and Sony, come up with these kind of things, I think that would be actually perfect. And if you do want me to make a video about these ones and what are my expectations, but also what I would like in those consoles, please drop a comment down below. But I'm really curious what they will bring new to the table, and I really hope that they will come up with these versions of their own consoles. 2025 might not be the year when they do that, but hopefully at least we'll get a glimpse of them, and maybe next year, who knows, we will get those consoles from Microsoft and Sony. And while these may be the handheld consoles that will come up this year and maybe next year, I do want to address something else. It's still a console experience when it comes to Steam. Apparently they're working on a new version of the Steam machine. If you don't know about it, and besides those 5 players that bought the Steam machine, if you don't know what that is, it's actually a dedicated console from Steam where you can play your Steam library on a big screen TV, so you don't need the proper PC to do that. So it was something similar with what the Steam Deck is now, but not the handheld part. And back then we didn't have Steam OS and Proton, which is actually enabling us to play those games on this OS, and that's why it was a failure back then, and I do believe that this time around they can actually do it. Having the Steam OS as it is, but with better hardware on a dedicated console on a big screen TV, I think that would be great. So this closes a bit the gap between a proper PC for gaming, but also and consoles. So I'm really curious if they'll actually do that, because I'll definitely buy it day one, even though I'm a handheld type of player, but I still like to have my Steam library on a dedicated device to play them on my TV. And even though I can still do that if I plug in an HDMI cable through the USB-C port over here, that can still be done, but I'll still rather have a more powerful device without a screen to hook it up to my TV. And I'm really curious if that would be the case, because Valve are in a phase where they can try this once more, and I really hope they'll do that, because a Steam console would actually make sense at this moment, and it could actually revive the console market once more, because at this moment Sony is pretty much winning it at every chapter. Microsoft are not doing that great, so we need competition also in that sector, and I really hope that will be the case, and maybe we'll see that console later this year, who knows. But overall, that's about it when it comes to handheld gaming in the next couple of years. As I said, for me at least, now we're entering phase 2 of handheld gaming, and I really think that these will not go away anytime soon. If anything, it will close the gap between PC gaming and these devices more and more, and I'm really curious what technology will bring new to the table in the upcoming years. So let me know what you think. Do you own any handheld consoles at this moment? Do you like handheld gaming? Do you think this will be the future? I'm really curious to see what's your opinion about this, so drop them in the comment. And thank you once more for watching me rambling about gaming, and yeah, 2025-2026 will be quite interesting when it comes to portable gaming. I cannot wait to see where this turns out. So that's it for now. This is Silvio and this is the Tech Unravel, and I'll catch you in the next one.